My name is Gilles Verniers. I'm an assistant professor of political science at Ashoka University in Haryana, and I'm also the director of the Trivedi Center for Political Data. India has a democracy, has produced a large number of strong women political role models. It was one of the early democracies to produce a women head of state, a head of government, party presidents, there's a number of chief ministers. So there's no dearth of really powerful women politicians in India. At the same time, at the local level, 54% of all local elected representatives are women, thanks to an affirmative action regime that has been in place for now 28 years. And that, of course, has had tremendous consequence on the ground on the quality of representation in terms of content, priority, use of public resources, and so forth. But between those two levels, the high politics and the local politics, women are practically absent. The women currently make 11.5% of MPs in the Lok Sabha. That places India at the 149th rank in the world in terms of women representation in national parliament, which is, of course, very, very low. And when you look at state politics in provincial assemblies or state assemblies, that number goes down further to about 8%. Large states like Karnataka, most of the Northeast actually don't have or hardly have any women elected in their state assemblies. And so the project that I'm running at Ashoka with a team of researchers and some of my students consists in finding out why there are so few women. On one hand, obviously, there are party biases. Political parties tend to discriminate candidates on the basis of gender. But going beyond that, there are also a number of states where voters tend to turn against women candidates. What we're trying to do is to examine empirically the claims or the excuses that political parties give for not fielding women candidates. Political parties across the spectrum tend to provide the same kind of answers or the same kind of reasons or justifications for not giving more tickets to women that they make for weaker candidates, that only elite women can perform, that women cannot act as effectively as men as representatives, that few women want to become politicians in the first place, that they would be very happy to give more tickets, but they cannot find the candidates. Or a common stereotype also is that women politicians in India are essentially voiceless proxies for some male relative who either is contesting elsewhere or for various reasons cannot contest. What we have undertaken to do is to profile every woman contesting state elections in India and the incoming general elections. So that includes about 16 states. And to look at the profile also of the women who have won in the past. And what we found, and which is not very surprising, is that the profile of women politicians is actually extremely diverse. There is not one type of women politician. Some do have an elite background. Many of them have political family connections. But many of them also, many of the candidates also come from the grassroots, come from local bodies, come from the professional world or municipalities, and have reason through action and experience accumulated on the ground. And what we are able to do with this project is to basically not just provide an empirical base for the study of women in politics in India, but we are also able to debunk empirically some of those myths, some of those stereotypes about women in politics. What we find is that states that tend to have better statistics related to women welfare in terms of education, in terms of sex ratio, in terms of infant mortality, literacy, and so forth, tend to have lesser women politicians than the states that have actually worse statistics. So in a way, the harder it is for women, the more women politicians you have, which is, for a social scientist, an interesting puzzle to investigate.